Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. Now this video is going to be a fan review of WWE Clash at the Castle because I was fortunate enough to attend the event. I was there live in person to see the first UK premium event in over 30 years and I can say hand on heart it did not disappoint. It was incredible. Triple H smashed it out the park. It wasn't perfect, I'll go into that in a moment, but overall what a show. I come away from that really feeling good about being a WWE fan. Like the product is in safe hands now under the guidance and leadership of Triple H. I can't really put into words the feeling, the experience of the day. One thing I will say is if you get the chance to watch WWE live, book it, do it without hesitation. You will not be disappointed. It's definitely a day experience to soak in the atmosphere. Make sure whatever you do, you've got your accommodation and travel sorted because I know there's a few issues with strikes on the train lines at the moment, but there were two trains that I literally physically could not get on because WWE fans were literally taking over the UK and it's great to see. The moment I got down in Cardiff, the atmosphere was electric. Seeing all these fans, meeting all these amazing fans. You can just go up to anyone and talk about wrestling and they're so passionate. The UK fan base, and I know I'm sounding biased here, is a strong base and I'm sure WWE are going to come back at some point in the UK, surely. Saw so many fancy dress costumes. I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin. Maybe a shrunken version of him, and loads of other fancy dress, which is pretty cool as well. That's what it's all about, people having fun and switching away from, you know, life for a while and just immersing in the WWE universe. Like people with replica belts on, draped across their shoulders. When I see those, I always think, God, the wrestlers are like massive, because when you've got it on a regular sized guy or girl, like it looks humongous, and on the wrestlers it looks smaller. So it shows how big the wrestlers literally are. But wow, what a overall experience throughout the day. I'll never forget it, the way Cardiff was just draped in WWE all over really. It was just amazing. And I'm just going to go through a brief summary really of the overall experience from that fan perspective, from that in-stadium perspective, because sometimes it's different from what actually comes across on the screen. Now I've since watched the show in its entirety on the screen, but the experience was slightly different in some areas, I'd say, when you watch it in person. Of course, if you watch the show, if you were there, get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions on the experience. And also, if you didn't watch it and you watched it in general on TV, what did you think about the show in general? Again, comments always welcome. It's what it's all about here on this channel, a community, building that community. So let's start with, of course, the review of the main event, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. I wanted Broken Dreams in an entrance and I got Broken Dreams, had goosebumps. I love the way they merged Broken Dreams into Drew's current theme, his battle theme, literally I call it, and wow, what a reaction. I knew he was going to get a pop, but I didn't expect it to be such a landslide really. It was literally like 95% of people behind McIntyre and then like a few behind Reigns. When Reigns came out in his tribal chief, head of the table, heel persona, it was cool, it worked. He soaked up the crowd, he lapped up that heel vibes, and strange to see Roman get such like a negative reaction, like overwhelmingly. Normally in the States you see like a 50-50 kind of, some people cheering him, some people booing him because he's that cool cocky heel, isn't he? But over here, they didn't like him. They chanted, "Who are ya?" And Roman didn't like it. He responded with this.
Acknowledge me!
And it just threw out such a great atmosphere, a methodic build throughout the start of the match, and then I like the fact, well, I would have paid money just to see, to be honest, this one scenario when, of course, Theory came out and you thought he's going to cash in. My goodness, the crowd went a little bit mad. They thought, oh my goodness, they may be going to split the belts and, you know, Theory might go after the WWE title and McIntyre could pin Theory and Reigns is still kept strong and goes away with the Universal title. But no, Tyson Fury just knocks the hell out of Theory. Left, right, good night. And we didn't see Theory since throughout that matchup. But what I thought was great about this overall matchup was, I think in our hearts we knew Drew wasn't going to win. It was very unlikely. In my predictions video last week, I predicted Roman Reigns to retain. And purely because typically they don't seem to change major belts overseas. And also as well, it kind of makes sense. We talk about the ending, why they did what they did. Now, of course, there were genuine times throughout the match where I thought there was a chance. When you're wrapped up in the atmosphere and the home crowd, that home nation cheering on Drew McIntyre. I can't say he's a hometown hero because he's actually from Scotland and it was in Wales, but you know what I mean, the UK fans. There was one point right now where I thought he was going to win. And there was another major point where I thought he was going to win. My heart was literally racing and this was it. And then, of course, absolute heartbreak. We saw seemingly the main event or main roster debut of Solo Sikoa, NXT talent, cousin of Roman Reigns, comes in, saves the day in the absence of the Usos and Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns retains. The crowd booed like mad at the end of that. They did not like the reaction, and I was very, very surprised that they ended like that, like having Tyson Fury come out and try and save things by singing American Pie. I don't think that quite cut it for the audience, but I think once the dust is settled, I spoke to many fans at the end of the event and they said that they enjoyed the show overall. So I think it was more a case of a booking scenario there where it was short-term pain, long-term gain. And what I mean by that is the money is with Roman Reigns. Say what you say, like it would have been a fairy tale moment in that moment. You know, the atmosphere in that crowd, the reaction in that crowd, you've got to remember it's very isolated. Like you take those two straps, get McIntyre back in the United States. When Roman gets stronger reactions, more towards this kind of, a lot towards the babyface reactions a lot of the time, he gets. Yeah, I'd be fearful, but Drew wasn't harmed out of this loss. At the end of the day, he looked the strongest he'd ever looked. He looked like an absolute weapon coming away from that matchup, and it's going to be positive for him moving forward. Whether he goes into a feud with Karrion Kross, we'll have to wait and see what route Roman goes down. Now, seemingly the bloodline is strengthened with Solo Sikoa part of the bloodline. We're going to get sick and tired of the bloodline, aren't we, in 2050 when Roman's still champion at WrestleMania. But overall, I can understand why they did what they did. And to be fair, it's a conclusion I can be happy with. Now, in terms of The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, we speculated on this channel there could be the potential for him to return at Clash. Many people wanted that. But from being in the building and sharing that experience, it wouldn't have been right to bring him back there and then. It really wouldn't have. Before the event, I would have said yes. If Drew loses, then you could have The Fiend staring Roman down the ramp or come out and attack him or set up some sort of feud between the two. But one thing, the suspense is still building. So it wasn't predictable. They didn't bring him back when we thought he might come back. And also as well, you've got to think about the fact with The Fiend. It was Drew McIntyre's night, win or lose, at Clash at Castle. Just because of the fans, the home nation fans, should I say, there on the night. It would have almost stolen the spotlight a little bit, I think, from Drew. Like, Drew was the man you could be proud of. Like, no one thinks any less of Drew losing tonight. We know he lost due to interference anyway, like Roman wins most of his matches anyway. So, I think save Bray Wyatt's return, save The Fiend's return. We know Braun Strowman's coming back on Raw literally tomorrow on time of recording this video. So there's a lot more there. There's a lot more meat on the bones, if you like. And of course, the money matchup is going to be Roman Rock, ideally, or Roman Cody. And Cody to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns at WrestleMania or sometime before that. It kind of makes sense, really, to be honest. You think of that overall worldwide fan reaction. It's not just an isolated UK win. You've got to remember, UK fans are a very small population of the world WWE fans. Take this channel, for example, 65% of the audience is American. So, yeah, so you see where I'm going to go here. You don't have to agree with what I'm chatting here, but that was my take on it, really. Now I'm going to go through quickly some of the other matches. We'll start with the 6-woman tag match. I'm just going to draw things that stood out to me within those matches. Wow. One word, Bayley. new entrance theme, with of course Damage Control. Loved it. They came out, they looked an absolute booking like dream, really, in terms of like there's just that dominant heel faction that you can fit into pretty much any feud within the women's roster. And the UK fans adore Bayley. She tried not to chuckle and laugh. She must have been deep down inside loving life, loving that reaction, but of course showing that heel persona, going against the fan reaction. A muted response for the other ladies, although they did put on a fantastic show. They got strong reactions, just not as strong as Bayley, really, to be honest with you. Dakota Kai and Io Sky look like weapons. I love the fact it's potentially setting up Asuka and Io Sky down the line as well. And I'd all be down for a Bayley Bianca matchup soon, to be honest with you. Bayley taking, like, literally getting the pin on Bianca. I thought that was a bit surprising, but not really when you think of the context of things. Keeping Damage Control super strong, booking them strong, and they needed that win, really, after not winning the tag belts the prior week. So that was great. Next matchup, Gunther versus Sheamus. Wow. All I can say is Sheamus just gets over wherever he goes in the UK. Still, at his age, like, he's an absolute brawler, isn't he? And there was some serious red on his chest, that was for sure. Some serious slaps left, right and centre there. Like, wow. Gunther, or Gunther, should we say? How do you pronounce it, by the way? Help me out here, because I always say like Gunther, because that's how I see it, but it could be something else. The fans certainly wanted to call him Walter. Great, of course, to see Imperium get back.
Gratitude for Giovanni Vinci!
That was a touch of genius, seemingly to neutralise the numbers there, really, against Sheamus's team. Because we know there was going to be brawls out the back. They rushed out the back and had their own separate brawl and left the two men to it. And that was one manly fight, wasn't it? That was just two brutes going at it. I love it because Gunther is giving the Intercontinental title prestige. He really looks like the real deal. I love his theme. I love his entrance, his presentation. He really is the ring general, and it made sense for him to have the victory. And a lot of people were happy with that match. A lot of people felt that was the best match of the night. I think it tied with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. But overall, like, the experience was just obviously both over. Like, there was a lot of let's go Walter, let's go Sheamus. I love the way they refused to call him Gunther. That's fantastic. Moving on to, of course, what was next? Oh yeah, of course, we have Liv Morgan versus Baszler. And I say what was next, like, forgetting, because to be honest with you, it was great to see Liv get a clean, decisive victory against Baszler. Much needed. But Baszler's reaction was flat. It really was. She needs to get her old theme back and really go back to that dominant, vicious character that we saw. You'd never think in a million years after that Elimination Chamber years back that Shayna Baszler would be losing clean to Liv Morgan. Now, Liv looks a lot stronger. Good reaction, great babyface reaction from the UK fans. We know what connection she has with her fans, and hopefully there's stronger things with her moving forward. I just really feel at the moment like the money switch is to get Alexa on SmackDown and have an Alexa Liv feud. I'd love to see that down the line. You might hate it, but you know, you might love that idea too. But get down in the comments section. What do you think of that? But there's loads of arcs they can go. Of course, Baszler can feud with Rousey. That'd be cool. Or even tag with Rousey. That'd be a dominant team, wouldn't it? That's for sure. Tag team division, watch out. For 100% sure. Yeah, that was an alright match. Judgment Day versus, of course, Edge. I will never forget the Edge entrance and the crowd singing along to Metalingus from Alter Bridge. Edge's iconic theme. And just a great match. Hard-hitting matchup. And, of course, the swerve, which got such a great heel heat reaction. When Dominic betrayed his father, seemingly is going to join the Judgment Day, and it makes a lot of sense. It really does. It's been a much anticipated heel turn from Dominic. We predicted it on the channel way back when. We said at some point that Dominic was going to turn heel, and he has done. In terms of predictions, at this point, I was loving life. I was like, I guessed that Bayley's team were going to win Damage Control. They did. I guessed that Gunther was going to win. He did. And at this point, I guess that Liv was going to retain. And I was like, fantastic. And then, of course, Judgment Day lost. And I predicted Judgment Day to win. However, I see them taking the loss was a route into the Dominic heel turn, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm happy to be wrong on a prediction if that was the case. Talking of predictions, I was hoping in the Riddle versus Rollins match that we're going to see Rollins win, purely not because I'm not a fan of Riddle, I'm a fan of them both, but because Rollins hasn't had many clean victories, has he? He hasn't had many victories in general, and we do forget, he never lost to Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. He won via disqualification, so just as he gets to getting a feud with Roman Reigns, someone comes in his way. This someone at this point was Riddle. Great match, loved it, a lot of chemistry between the two of them, and of course real life heat behind the scenes as well. And off the ropes, second rope, curb stomp to get the victory, Seth Rollins, and just listen to the reaction Seth Rollins was getting. The UK fans love Seth Rollins, they absolutely love him. Fans in general, is it maybe only a matter of time before we see a face Rollins, or do they keep him as a heel, or maybe in some sort of tweener role? Because you can't really hate him, can you? When he comes out with those outfits and just the way he presents his character and how good he is in the ring, Rollins is literally one of my favourite. I've said this before, but he's sneaking up there in the top 3 of my favourite WWE superstars at the moment. And I will say, Gunther is in the top 5 now. Honestly, I just think something about that guy. He's got main event all over him in the future. I could see him as a genuine threat for someone like Roman Reigns down the line. I honestly could. And that moves on to, God, what are we on to now? We're on to Judgment Day, Riddle. Oh, we've already done it. There was actually only 6 matches, which I thought was a bit odd. There was a lot of interactions we saw at the end. Of course, Tyson Fury singing American Pie alongside Drew McIntyre is probably something I won't forget. Did it numb the blow of Drew McIntyre losing? No, but overall, just what an experience, what an overall experience. So I'm going to put some of the entrances up on some shorts because I'll get done for copyright, I'm sure, for putting those up on these videos, these types of videos. But overall, just like a little bit of a different twist really on the video from the usual. Just a sort of reaction from a fan base. As I said, if you attended the event, let me know and share your experiences. If you've got any videos at the event, upload them. I want to see them. It was just something I can't explain. It's just something about like the roof down. I know they couldn't do the pyros, but the sound just hit harder within there. It just amazing atmosphere in general, and great to meet so many of you as well. So many wrestling fans. That's what it's all about. Like, just being able to switch away from the real world for a bit and kind of go in and immerse yourself in the WWE universe. Seeing smiles on kids' faces as well, coming away like that they're going to have memories that are going to last a lifetime, and they're going to be, you know, older watching wrestling back and thinking, I was there. Did I get a t-shirt? Of course I got a blooming t-shirt, didn't I? I was there at Clash at the Castle. Couldn't not. Thank you so much for watching the video, a long video. If you lasted this long, I can't say thank you enough. I sort of do tend to waffle, but you know, it's only because I'm passionate about wrestling. I'll see you very, very soon, all right? But before you do that, as always, be really appreciative if you can like the video, and even better if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We'll see you very soon with some new storyline developments in the making.